everybody. Kate Payne here from Standing Out Online, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Kate. We are live today with my friend and colleague, even Kimberley Borgens. So we're happy to have you here, Kimberly. So let's do a little virtual toast. I do actually have coffee in my mug. It's cold, but it's coffee.
All right. I don't have coffee. I have some water, but that's
what
good.
I usually have that too. So we are going to jump right in today, everybody. First of all, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us if you're watching on the replay. And we're going to dig into Kimberly's story, which is fascinating. Her background. She is the co-founder of a security firm in Stockton, California, with her husband, Lawrence. And they have had this business going for a while, but Kimberly's been in this male-dominated world. And so she's also a coach, and she's a leader, and she's working with women now to help them stop being small. And I've certainly been there. And so Kimberly, without you even knowing it, just through osmosis with us being an eWomen network together, you've actually really helped me as well. You've helped me with some of my mindset. So I'm grateful to you for that. So thanks. Yeah. So let's dig in. So we're gonna hop around a little bit today. You know, everybody who listens to my shows knows that my interviews are very conversational, pulling from my journalism background. I do have questions that I have just to feel prepared, but usually we get into such a good conversation that a good interviewer will always keep the conversation going and digging in and not going, that was question one and what's question two? So Kimberly, you and I have been on this amazing trip together through the Pinnacle Mastermind in eWomen Network. And we've both belonged to eWomen for a while, you longer than I. And I've had the pleasure of seeing you evolve. I've had the pleasure of seeing you grow. Now, when I met you, you were already a leader. You were already well established. You already had your multi-million-dollar company with Lawrence. But you were still new in my world. And I've seen you evolve even since we were in Pinnacle together. And what was it? Was it 2023?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it was. Mm-hmm.
And but our listeners, thank you all for being here, are meeting you for the first time. Some of them are meeting you for the first time. So how would you describe the version of yourself today, given your story? And feel free to back up and give us some of your story to give context.
Yeah. Let me just tell you, when I talk to people today, like everybody thinks I'm the most outgoing, social butterfly, the person who is the light of the room kind of thing. But let me tell you, I started hiding, out by hiding in closets as a kid. Like I just didn't want to be seen. I just didn't feel I needed to be seen. That wasn't my thing. So throughout the years in business, even in my corporation, my business partner, as Kate alluded to, is also my husband. My business partner is the face of our company in private security and investigations, and I could still be in the background. Well, about 10 years ago, I needed to evolve more. It was time for me to step out in public. And the thing about being a woman in a male-dominant space is you always have to evolve. But ladies, I'm just going to say this. That's in every space.
Exactly.
We have to evolve each and every day, each and every year to, improve. Look at how social media has evolved. Look how, when I first started in business, look, I'm older than Google. Right? We had to learn how to have websites. We had to learn how to have emails. We had to learn how to do all the technology things. And if you're not willing to evolve and step into the next phase of your life, then you remain stagnant or you just don't go anywhere. And so I've had to evolve. And I would say the newer version of me, as you might say, Kate, is, I'm much more approachable. I'm much more excited to be around people. I love people. I care a lot, but I will admit I'm not the warm and fuzzy kind of person.
Yeah. You have your moments though, Kimberly. I've seen them.
I do. I truly do care. I wouldn't be in the industry that I am. Creating safe communities is not an easy thing, but it's done out of a love for caring for people.
Well, you're a butt kicker in the best sense.
Yes.
And we were all at the annual eWomen Network conference a couple weeks ago. And, there's a lot of women in our community who really are similar. Robin Edgar is one, a financial advisor. Julie Thomas is another. She was in Pinnacle with us. from the sales side, and and you all, I think it takes everybody, right? Like maybe some of us help soften you a little bit, and then you help us a little bit. And so it's very, it just works out. It integrates really well. And I think that's such the importance of community, right? And we're learning from one another.
Absolutely. Look, it takes all of us
It sure does.
coming together. It takes the quiet people working with the not so quiet people, the always talkers. It takes us all kind of coming together and blending so that we become the better human beings that we're meant to. It creates, it helps us to learn tolerance and patience and understanding. Look, I'm never going to be a warm and cozy, fluffy kind of person. I'm just not designed that way, right?
Right.
I wasn't created that way in the industry that I am in. But at the same time, can I be absolutely compassionate for people? Can I care and have empathy? Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
I do.
Well, and you wouldn't be doing this coaching with women if you didn't have that aspect, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's actually a nice segue into my next question so just give us a quick little snapshot of when you started this business with Lawrence. And I've met your husband, and Lawrence is just the best. You two have a great relationship. We traveled the world together, right? With our Pinnacle group. We were in Bali and Singapore, and that's how we all kind of got to know Lawrence. And the two of I think not every husband and wife can work together, but you two have figured it out. And I'm not saying it's probably been perfect, but you've figured it out. You each know where your talents are. And so you've been in that security world. And in fact, you even were in law enforcement. You were a policewoman, right?
Yeah. So I started my career on this path. I went to college, administration of justice and business management, moved into the police academy, then decided I just didn't want to be out on the street.
Right.
While I was at the police academy, I met this guy who worked for a private investigator who had been in the military and was a bodyguard for celebrities, public figures down in Southern California. And we kind of merged our brains together and decided that we would start a business. So we started the private security, private investigations business. And then, we just decided to get married. So
let's just get married.
Let's just get married, So about it,
Yeah.
So our business came first. We were in relationship for about 4 years before we were married, but our business we started about 3 years in. And then decided, well, okay, we'll get married, but only because, and I just want to preface this is, I was previously married. I got married at 18 to my high school sweetheart. At 19, we had a son. At 20, on our anniversary, we were out to dinner and I gave him a gift and he gave me divorce papers. So, when it came to getting married again, I kind of had a little bit of some trust issues there.
Yep.
But I could start a business with him first and really get to know him a little bit more. And you're right. Look, if you're married and you're thinking about starting a business with your spouse, I'm going to say, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it unless you're willing to commit to both.
Right.
And you have to decide that the marriage is more important than the business. That's my perspective. But yeah, we've been working together. Somebody at my office said yesterday, like, don't you argue, with Lawrence about, some of this stuff. Somebody in my office said it. I said, look, I never argue with my husband. I might argue with my business partner, but I don't argue with my husband.
Yeah. One of the things I love about your website, and I think it's your Kimberley Borgens website, is you have the husband and wife convos, which you also use in your social media, and I always read them, and they're great. Yeah. They're really good. So, but listen, we've actually got somebody from eWomen that's joining us right now, Gail Stevens. So she asks, she states, Kate and Kimberly, you are both so right. Creating community and knowing how to use our voices is so crucial. And she thanks us for doing this show. So
it's wonderful. Thank
you. Know about community, right?
Absolutely.
So when you had this business with Lawrence, when was it? What was it that inspired you to start this sort of next chapter with the coaching side? Because you had the Be a Legacy piece going too, and then you got into the coaching. So tell us a little bit about what was that arc?
Well, let me just say the Be a Legacy piece is the coaching.
Okay.
That started about 20 years ago.
I'm sorry, Kimberley Borgens is the speaking. Okay. I already do. My mistake.
Now, right? But Be a Legacy was started out of working with women and helping women like get more successful. People kept asking me, how did you become successful in your business? Look, we started from nothing in our business. Uh, we ended up, we ended up with 4 kids.
Yep.
Somehow, no, but we had 4
You just
kids.
dropped from the sky.
I know, just to buy fence. We love our 4 wonderfully rotten children. They're all grown. They're all adults now, and amazing human beings. Amazing community people. And but we were raising kids and running a business. And I remember I was at work doing payroll on a Friday. On Saturday, I had my daughter. And then the next Thursday, I was in the office doing payroll. So,
Yeah. Wow.
that's what we do as entrepreneurs.
We do.
And, the process came with coaching women as women kept asking me, Kimberly, how are you being successful at what you're doing? And can you help me? And so that's where the coaching started. I facilitated for a personal development company for 5 years and worked with a lot of women and men around belief systems and their mindsets and things like that, all before it was even popular.
Right. Yeah.
But I was able to work with women and coach women. And, that's why, I've created Be a Legacy that's kind of the coaching and teaching side. You talked about KimberleyBorgens.com, which is really about the speaking side. So getting out and speaking more about those things. So that's just the differentiation between the two is there's the coaching and then the speaking. So I'm just getting more and more out on the speaking circuit.
Great. I love it. I've heard you speak many times and you're very, very good.
Thank
And
you.
you're a lot of fun too. You've got some really good things. And one of the things that I also loved about you too is years ago, I wasn't very girly. And so I was never really a shoe person. And then when I got into eWomen, I'm like, oh, it's kind of fun to get dressed up and it's kind of fun to put some makeup on. And it's kind of fun to do that stuff. And I remember when you and I were at an eWomen event in Newport Beach, I think, we took a ride in your convertible and you have a picture of yourself next to your license plate. Tell us what your license plate says.
Well, my license plate says, I heart shoes.
Yep. And you have great shoes.
I have great shoes.
And so now the reason I bring that up, tell us the name of your podcast.
Yeah. So I just recently started a podcast and my podcast is Superheroes in Heels. And that really is, talking to the women and it doesn't matter what size the heel is. It could be a short little heel. It could be a flat. I don't care. Your heel fits in it. Okay.
Exactly.
But, as women, we forget that we really are superheroes. We forget that when we're having a tough day, people have said to me in the past, in the coaching realm, it's like, Kimberly, how do I have, the energy that you have, or how do I talk to people the way that you do? And I'm like, just step into my shoes. So that was a saying, like, just pretend you're stepping in my shoes right now. I had a gal one time when I was, working in a little coaching circle and she said, oh, I just love your shoes. I could never wear shoes like that. And I was like, well, what size do you wear? And she said the same size as me. And I'm like, here, try them on. And she tried them on. And I'm like, walk for a second. I'm like, how do you feel? She says, I feel more powerful. I'm like, great. Now they're yours.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you step into the shoes of the other women who have gone before you? And so I bring on guests into Superheroes in Heels who have done it before, or I'm just sharing my tips, my thoughts on how you can step into my shoes to help grow your business.
I love that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how the knowledge you have can help other women who are watching this, people who are watching this on the replay, whether they own their own business or not. I think we talk about, reclaiming yourself and not playing small. So I'd really like you to dig into that because, I have been through some experiences in my life, which, I'm still working on getting through and I've come a long way. But a lot of my life, I played small. And I always was doing it because it was safe. It was about staying safe. And now I have a very different perspective on it. So share about where you come from for this, because I think that's the real crux of what I wanted to talk about today.
Great. So I want to say that what you said was one of the key things that I don't really like the term playing small. What I really want to emphasize is it's time to know that you can be safer than you think that you are. Right. Is a lot of times women will walk in and you go to let me ask you, Kate, have you ever walked into a women's networking event and you went to introduce yourself to somebody and they say, oh yeah, I'm so-and-so. And you can't hardly hear them speak. You're like, what? Speak up.
Right. Own it.
Right?
Yep.
Right? And I know that it's fear that's
Yep.
causing that.
Yep.
And what I want to do and what I'm out there doing now, talking on command presence and owning your role as a woman, no
Mhm.
matter whether you're in a male dominant industry, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a mom, whether you work for an employer and you just need to own your job like nobody's business, right? It's
Right.
owning your space, and it's talking about it may be uncomfortable because
Mhm.
life is uncomfortable.
Right.
I gave birth to 4 children with no drugs. It was uncomfortable.
Yes, it was. I did too. No drugs.
Life is uncomfortable. The sun is shining. It's too hot. It's uncomfortable. Life is naturally uncomfortable. But for some reason, women have a tendency to think, oh, I'm uncomfortable. Let me back up.
Yeah.
And what I want to point out is that's when you need to lean in. You
Mhm.
need to lean into the communities. You need to lean into those people that you know that are the stronger, louder voices, not louder causing problems,
Yeah.
but
Right. Right.
louder,
Right.
confident women who are in your realm. And if not, then join our realm, right, Kate?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Join into our communities, because when you can stand up, put your shoulders back, hold your head high, and speak. Hi, I'm Kimberley Borgens, and I help women fiercely empower women to step into their role as leaders in their business, leaders in their companies. You see, that's different than, hi, I'm
Yeah.
Kimberley Borgens, and I don't really know what to do here, right? What
Right.
I want you to do is you don't have to know what to do, but you can look at somebody who does and emulate them. So when I talk about in my free handout, which we'll talk about, one of the things is mirroring people. How can
Yes.
you mirror the women that are the BAs out there, the women that are getting it done,
Yep.
so that you can step into that role and that space. And and don't let people take up your space. If somebody's too close, just spread yourself a little bit, right?
Mhm.
If you're sitting, look, here's a little tip, ladies. If you're in a room at a meeting at a table, and what happens is you set your stuff down. Women have this tendency to like put all their stuff right in front of them. That's it. Men sitting at the table, they move all their stuff out. You know, your little coffee
Yep.
cup, they'll put it
Yep.
on
They
your
move it up.
side,
They
right?
they they put their elbows on the table and
Exactly.
they
And
take up
women
space.
shrink into this little tiny spot, giving them the space.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, as women, take your space. Move
Exactly.
yourself out a little bit. Those armchairs, those arms from that point out, that is all your space.
Exactly.
Put your cup out, put your, your tablet there and take up that space. Reclaim it, ladies. It's time to reclaim that space.
I love the word reclaim. It's
Yeah.
it's such a good active word. So Gail is just wanted to share some comments. She said, Kimberly, I come from an entrepreneurial marriage of my parents who had a marriage and business for over 40 years. Important conversations, ongoing communication, integrity, trust, and so much more are essential as an ongoing process and evolution. And my mom especially has been my amazing role model in so many important ways. So she thanked you. And then she also just shared about how when you go into those scenarios you talked about when you first meet somebody, they say their first name when they are introducing themselves, and she says she always asks them their last name for the full person, which I love. In fact, I'll share something that's in the same vein as that. I go to my nail techs, and so I move around, and sometimes I have to go to a new nail salon. And if you noticed, a lot of the Asian people give an American name.
Yes.
And whenever I go to one of them, I always ask them for their given name
Yeah, me
because
too.
that's who they are. So I actually have a new tech here where I am at right now, and her name is Trin, but she uses Angela. And so when I go in there, I'm like, Trin, how are you? And she is she's remembers me because of that, but she's also, I'm seeing her. That's
Mhm.
the more important thing. And I just feel like these are all little ways that we can all do things to help people be seen, right?
Absolutely. And that
Yeah.
includes your wait staff, right?
Yes.
They come, they ask you how you're doing, you say, I'm fine. And then can you get me a bottle of whatever, right?
Right.
It's like I always ask, and how are you doing today?
Right.
And they kind of look at me and they go, oh, I'm good. And then they go, I'm like, I'm glad to hear that.
Right.
Right. And then I find out their name. And guess what? When I ask for something, I always end it with their name. The
Yeah.
same with my hotel staff, right?
Yep.
I get to know the people that are cleaning my room if I'm at a
Mhm.
hotel.
I stop them in the hallway and thank them, even if and then they say they don't speak English, and I just say thank you.
And if you can't afford a big tip at a hotel, leave something.
Exactly.
Because
No,
those
I'm exactly
people,
the same way. I always
yeah.
say their name, and when I get help from somebody, even if it's at the checkout at the grocery store, I always say, "I appreciate you."
Yeah, so I worked like I said, in the seminars many years ago, and we were at the same hotel every single week. So I
Yeah.
would work 1 week, I was home 1 week. I would be, there 1 week and I'd be home 1 week. And so I was there all the time. It was my second home. And it was interesting because I always talked to the staff, the wait staff, the kitchen staff. I always just knew them by their name based on, the same conversation. And
Mhm.
what was interesting is there were fellow facilitators who were, I don't know how you get everything that you get, Kimberly, because when I ask them to do something for me, they never do it for me or they complain about it. Well, because I'm the person who's friendly, who's caring, and who truly is connecting with those people. And
Yep.
anything I wanted. I was in my room one time, the heater went out. Engineering came up. I'm like, "Hey, guess what? My heater went out." And if you know me, I love heat. So he came like, "What? That's a travesty, Kimberly." And I'm like, "I know, Ed. Come on,
Yeah.
get it done." And
Yeah.
so he's like, "No problem. Let me go check it out." He let me know a little bit later. He's like, "Kimberly, it broke. You killed her. I've ordered a new one. It'll be in tomorrow. But I went out and bought a heater, a portable heater for your room, and I put it in your room to take care of you."
Mhm.
I mean, as simple as that from engineering because I cared and asked him how he's doing every time I needed his support.
I
So
just think I
it's a
think it's
huge
a nice
deal.
way to live your life. Everybody, whether they're the janitor or
Mhm.
they're the CEO, everybody deserves to be treated with respect and kindness and appreciation,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely.
So we've got a really good question from Christy Lee, who you know too.
Yes.
He says, question for Kimberly, what tip can you share for women who want to raise daughters to be confident future leaders? That's an excellent question. Thanks,
That
Christy.
is an excellent question, Christine. I wish I were smarter when I was younger, when I was raising my daughter so that it would be better. But, she is great. My daughter gets out there. But I would say the biggest thing that you can do to raise confident daughters, to be future leaders is first off, uh, introduce them to what you're doing. Right? Don't hide it. Don't like, "Oh, this is adult stuff. Oh, don't worry about it." Is show them what you're doing. Bring them to events. With our kids, we would go to conferences and we would take our kids with us. They were participants in adult conferences as
Right,
teenagers,
right.
right? We would bring them in. So that would be, show them first off how it
Yep.
is. Teach them how to introduce themselves.
Mhm.
Right? That's another
Life
good
lesson,
one,
important
is
one.
absolutely, is teach them because if not, they're just gonna wing it. They're gonna go with what the next Instagram or TikTok person says on how to introduce themselves, right? But
Mhm.
if you want them to be professional, teach them how to introduce themselves. The other thing I would say is, introduce them to adult content on leadership.
Excellent point.
Yeah,
Yes.
find books that you think are great books around leadership and then introduce them to them.
Right.
That could be reading to them.
Mhm.
Okay. It could be asking them just to read a chapter. It could be having them listen to it as an audio book,
Yes.
right? But introduce them to those other women, confident women leaders through books and leadership skill set. That's fine for men. There's a lot of great men out there that support a lot of wonderful women. But I'm
Mhm.
just saying, if you really want her to be a confident woman, is to show her how other confident women look.
Right,
Show
and
her
model
an
it and model
example.
it from your own standpoint too. I didn't have
Absolutely.
daughters, I had 2 sons, but even growing up, I was very involved in local politics. My dad had been a village trustee in the small town we were, and so I always admired that about him, and he knew everybody, and I think that was part of what I did. But I used to take my sons with me to go in the voting booth. So when
Uh-huh.
we had town meeting in Vermont. So
Yeah.
we would go I would take them in the voting booth with me and just tell them, like, I wasn't trying to get them to pick a side, but
Right.
I wanted them to understand the process that we have, and this is your like I took them when they were kids, and they
Yeah.
still remember it. And guess what? They vote.
That's right.
So it's a similar thing, right? Like you gotta expose them to it. So
Yeah, don't think that look, with so much presence on social media, all the platforms,
yep,
somebody else is gonna train your kids how to do something if you're not willing to do it.
right. So
So
Connie Zeller just popped in. Hi, Connie. Nice to see you. She's making a comment about what you said about, thanking the people that are in our world, the staff at restaurants and venues and things. You said, you're so right. I've told clients that they will get the sun and the moon from the hotel venue staff. If you are nice, say please and thank you and use their name.
Absolutely, Connie. Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And then we've got a lot of people watching today. I love this. This is fun. Gail just says respect and dignity of every single human being is essential, a core value. So thank you for that question, Christy. So I'm going to lead into another thing. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. So let's talk about, you use a phrase, speaking with her. So
Yes.
it's POWHER.
Yes.
What does that mean to you? And how can women, be more bold with that?
Yeah. My goal is to empower women, right? I fiercely empower women. That is what I go after, is because look, I've been at the bottom. Like I said, my ex-husband served me papers. Well, guess what? He took all the money out of the bank account, left me hanging. I had this little tiny car and this 1-year-old, and it wasn't easy. I started living out of my car. And I didn't have the role models. We didn't have social. We didn't we didn't know where to go to get help at that time. And I was at the bottom. I was sleeping in, around here we have stores called Food for Less. They were the first 24-hour grocery store, right? And I'd sleep in their parking lot because I knew people were going in and out all the time.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And I just didn't have and my mom was not raised very powerfully either. Women were meant to stay small in that era, right?
Yep.
And so my mom wasn't my role model in it. So what happened is I realized that we need to empower women. So why not empower her?
And I know,
And
I love it. I love the play on words, or play on word.
yeah, my play on word is empower her.
Yeah.
And the reason is because as women, look, I'm in a male dominant industry, and yeah, there's some negative comments, and there's some, some bravado and ego that gets away with men, right? We've all heard it. We've heard about it. But let me tell you, some of the nastiest conversations, some of the nastiest comments have come from women.
Yeah. I was just going to say women have that too. Some of them.
Women can be brutal.
Yep.
I'll take the men 100 times over.
I agree. 100%.
And I'm not saying that out of disrespect. What
Right.
I'm saying is we have to shift that mindset that the other women who are above you, who are reaching for the skies, that are trying to feel better for themselves, we got to stop trying to pull them down. I use the analogy because I'm in California, San Francisco. We have the Fisherman's Wharf, and there's the crabs there. And they would have these big pots of crabs, like huge pots of crabs. And all these crabs would be in the pots, but the pot, no crab would ever come out of the pot. Like it's just filled with all this thing. And what happens is, as a crab is trying to climb out, so is another crab, and he's pulling that crab down.
Right.
Right. And so none of the crabs ever get out. Well, women are a lot like that sometimes.
Sometimes.
Right.
It's a great visual, by the way.
Yeah, they're crabby about women being more successful than them. They're crabby about women who might be a little bit smarter. The truth isn't that they're more successful or that they're more smarter. The truth is that they're just being seen.
Right.
And that's where we were talking about earlier. I just wasn't being seen.
Right.
So I decided to get on the path to being seen.
Right.
But I'm not a crab.
No, you're not.
Women to be crabs.
Right.
I want women to go, oh, I'm in the pot with you. Let me help you up. And once you get up there, that other woman reach in and help pull you out.
Exactly.
So to empower her means to empower the other women around you, whether they're the teenagers, whether they're older women who still just never got the love and respect that they deserved.
Right.
Like empower all the women around you. That's what empower is about.
I love it. I love it. I grew up with a mom. I was very close to my mom. My mom was very smart. She was very humble. And she was a historian, and she got herself, when I was born, 1966, she wanted to work, but she wanted to work from home, and that wasn't a thing. She loved history. She wanted to be a librarian, and she actually became a certified professional genealogist, and she did it all through like a mail-on course. So anyway, that was her career. and she built a pretty nice career working from home. Like, she was a woman ahead of her time. But she was also raised to be, you're seen and not heard. You don't stir the pot. And as I got older, I started challenging that, thinking more respectfully with her, because that's was her frame of reference growing up, And my dad was a very outgoing, domineering guy. I love my dad. In some ways, I'm a version of him. But as I got into a community, and especially when I found the eWomen Network community, I mean, this is such an extraordinary organization, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on eWomen Network, but I think it's a very unique community because of the values-based organization that it is. The lift others as you climb, the give first, share always. It's it's totally in alignment with your crab example. When you get up there, reach down and help somebody else up. And that to me is just like, isn't that what it's all about?
Yes.
So.
I have 33 years of business under my belt.
Yeah.
Right. 33 years of making mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
33 years of learning new lessons,
Yeah.
33 years of attitudes, 33 years of love and support. Like, I have all of that in my back pocket, per se. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I call that my wisdom highlight.
I love that.
I've earned every gray hair on my head, or they're all white now, right? Like, I've earned them through the business, through raising kids, through, community. And I think what happens is a lot of people get coaching or get information from people who are just sharing what they saw somebody else share about, versus the real knowledge and skill set. And I've been able to say that, if somebody comes up to me and says to me, "Hey, Kimberly, like, I really need some help in, having that command presence, or I really need some help in hiring somebody or delegating," I can sit there and go, "Okay, what kind of help do you want?" Because a lot of times people say, "I want help," but they really just want somebody to do it for them.
Yeah, no, it's true. Right?
And I'm like, "Well, what kind of help do you want?" And then they tell me, and I'm willing to help any woman who asks me. If we're the right fit, I will, pluck out whatever knowledge I have to support you. And if I don't have that knowledge, I'm going to refer you to somebody else. I might go, "You know what? You'd be better off talking to Kate. Go and talk to Kate. She's going to work with you on that social, that LinkedIn stuff. No problem, because that's her specialty."
Right.
And I have no problem referring people, because it's not my goal to just spew information. It's my goal that whatever you're looking for, you find the right answer for you.
Right. I'm invested in my friends and my clients' outcome. And if I'm not the one, I'm going to be like, "Hey, you should talk to so-and-so." That's being of service to that person. I'm not trying to keep it all for myself,
Yeah.
So, all right. So you work with women who've been successful by all outside measures, right? But something inside them whispers, "There's got to be more."
Yeah.
What do you think that more really is?
Well, I think that women will have the bravado, the "I'm confident," but they forget that they have more capabilities than they realize. They forget all the knowledge that they've learned along the way.
Right.
And a lot of times what happens is I work with my clients to help them remember what they're capable of and figure out what they still need to learn. And then what we do is we create a path to learn that as well.
Right.
I've worked with people who think like, "Oh, I'm not a big deal. Like, it's, I'm just me. I'm just working." No, you're a big deal. Okay.
That's
You
been one of my biggest challenges, for sure.
Yeah, and so I think that the biggest thing is to remind women that they are more capable than they believe that they are,
Yes.
and show them how they are more capable based on my experience of, being a woman building a business.
Yeah.
Look, I've had, okay, I'm just going to call it out right now. Anybody else in the world here have imposter syndrome sometimes?
Oh,
Right?
no, never.
Okay.
Yes.
I too have stepped into moments where I'm like, "Oh, one of these days somebody's going to realize I'm just a fraud and I really don't know what I'm talking about."
Yep.
Right? And I'm
Yep.
like, "Oh," and I remember telling my husband, I'm like, "Well, who do I think I am?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just looked at me. He's like, "What are you talking about?" See, men don't get imposter syndrome.
No,
There's
they
a
don't.
reason.
No, they don't. They don't.
They don't, very rarely. I'm not saying
Yeah.
there's not a man out there who hasn't experienced imposter syndrome. What I am saying is you don't hear men talking about it, number
Right.
one. And number two, it doesn't likely happen because they don't dismiss what they know and
Right.
what they have done. We as women, we want to downplay it. We want to downgrade it. We want to like not try to put ourselves above anybody else. But the truth is we have a lot. If you're a mom and you've raised kids, you can be an entrepreneur, no problem.
For sure. Absolutely. For sure.
Right? And if
Yeah.
you just say, I'm just a stay at home mom, no, because you understand that there's a whole hierarchy even in being a parent, right?
Yes.
A family dynamic, all this skill set that you learn from that. And then what happens a lot of times is kids grow away and then like, well, what do I do now? I don't know anything. And I'm saying BS to that because you know a lot. You just need somebody like myself, somebody like Kate, somebody along the way who can show you that you have these capabilities and to put them into action.
I've had many people who've done that for me, and you're always we're all works in progress, right? Like we're
Absolutely.
all I mean, if I wake up tomorrow and go, hey, I've made it, you know what? I actually like I hit the peak.
Yeah,
Um,
if you say you made it, Kate, I'm gonna
yeah,
come find you and kick you in the booty.
exactly. Thank you.
Right?
And I probably call you up and go, I think I've made it. Will you kick me in the butt?
Yeah, exactly. Because I haven't even made it yet. I
Yeah,
mean,
I know. I mean,
so
I hope that, God forbid, when I'm on my last breath or on my deathbed, and I don't mean that to sound morbid, but I want to be like, I really came a long way and I really had a good life. And I hope I helped some people along the way, you know?
when I get to mine, I'm gonna like, I know I help people along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that I've played full out.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that I've done it right all the time.
Right.
It just means that I've given it my best effort,
Exactly.
and, I've still worked hard to be a good mom, a good Grammy, and, whatever it takes to be in community with my family and other women, and men.
Mhm.
I love men.
I do
I
too.
won't hear me knocking men. I raised 3 boys, and I have 1 daughter,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And so for me, like I wanted to raise loving men, men who could see women. My husband was awesome. I want to say is he would tell his, the kids like, "Hey, don't talk to your mom like that." If they were getting a little snippy, right? He would teach them. My husband opens my car door. Guess
Mhm.
what? So do my sons, even
Yep.
as adults.
Yes.
And they'll open the doors into restaurants that we're going into. They'll hold it open for somebody else because those were the little things
Mhm.
that we worked on them because I want them to be good, compassionate young men. And you know
Exactly.
what? The other thing I noticed is I have these kids who, if somebody's on the side of the road and they're broke down, they will stop.
Yeah.
They will help people.
That's nice.
And so for me, I did a good job, even if I am just a direct, bold mom, right?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, well, I raised 2 sons too, and actually, my oldest son, Sam, just made me a grandmother 10
Yes.
weeks ago, and so I have a beautiful, baby girl, baby granddaughter, and, everybody tells you how great it is to be a grandmother, and they tell you all the things and how it's just so different, but until I walked in the hospital room that morning, a couple
Yeah.
hours after she was born, and I saw my baby holding his baby, it's a feeling I can't even use words to describe. It was so powerful. And
Yes.
now to see him, even though I'm not physically there, they FaceTime me, they call, there's all these little videos and stuff, and I see him and I'm thinking, I did okay. Like his
Yeah.
father and I did okay. We taught him to be fun and we got him to be caring and he's proud. He's really like it's such an interesting thing to see that happen. And
Yes.
until you're in it, you just don't know the power of that
Yes.
feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have 2 grand boys right now, and,
Yeah.
one of my other sons, he and his wife are expecting at the end of the year, and so I'm excited for
Yeah.
and it's it's another son, right? So
I
I
know.
get to watch him step into that as well. So,
That's
yes.
great. All right, so we're gonna wind things down a little bit. We've had a lot of interaction, which I'm thrilled about. So thank you, Gail and Connie and um, who else was on here? Christy. Thank you all for participating. Again, if you're watching on the replay, we're going to go through a couple more things. And if you ever have any questions or you see this in 2 weeks from now, feel free to put a question in the chat and tag me or Kimberly, and we'll answer you even down the road. So I want to wrap up with some things here. So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions, and then we're going to talk about how people can get your freebie and how they can connect with you.
Wonderful.
So what's one belief you've had to let go of in order to fully become the coach and the leader that you are now today?
I had to let go of the belief that there just wasn't enough time in my day.
Yes.
That's
a good one.
Yeah, I schedule, I'm a calendar Nazi. I admit it. I schedule things in my calendar. If it's not scheduled, I'll be honest, it's not likely going to happen.
Yeah.
But I utilize that. I'm in my calendar every single day. I know what's planned. I give myself space in between things. But I had to let go of thinking there wasn't enough time in my day. I'm not saying I'm always done at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is that I had to let go of the belief that everything had to get done in a day.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the last question. I want you to finish this sentence. You're not broken.
You're not broken. You're still learning.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
Yeah,
we're because it's on a thing. Say it again.
Never broken, ladies. We were never broken.
Right. Agreed. Thank you, Kimberly. You're the best. This was so inspiring, and so I love. We always. How much I love story. And when we can talk about the stories that are in alignment with our beliefs and our work, then those stories help connect us to other people. So when we shared about like you living in your car, or, me, I left an abusive marriage. I mean, everybody's got their stuff. We don't always talk about it. We don't have it on our forehead, but we've all been through the ringer at some time. And there's two things that can happen. We can either fold and just stay there, or we can step in and we can take charge and we can figure it out. And community really helps with that. It's okay. Absolutely. It's strong to ask for help.
Yes.
And you don't have to do it alone. As Sandra Yancey says all the time, CEO of eWomen, we don't do this alone. Nope. And I thought I could in the beginning. I'm like, I'm going to do it all by myself. And that lasted.
That worked for you.
That didn't last very long. So let's talk about how people can connect with you. And I think you also have a little freebie for us too. Yeah. So Jim, you can highlight those things here.
Yeah. So chat. Bealegacy.com. So that's BEALEGACY.com. You can go there and just learn a little bit more about me. But I have a free gift that I love, and it's a super connected handout. And there's I think 10 or 13 pages in it. It keeps expanding, but
it's right there on your screen. You can take a picture of it, or it's going to be in the chat.
Yes, please. And what that is becoming super connected is about how do you get out and meet people and build the community that you need for you in your business and all of that. But it also has a little private investigative spin. As private investigators, you go out and you ask questions and people don't even really know what you're doing and what the follow-up is with that. So I kind of put that all together in with this super connected free gift for you. So go download that, print that out, and try it out at your next networking event. Try out some of the things, and just know, I just want to put this disclaimer in there. You're not going to get it perfect the first time. Okay. Right. It's a practice. It's an everyday practice. And, but and then of course,
they say.
Yeah. And then of course, follow up. And I even give you a whole follow-up system in that as well. So that would be the great free gift. So I would love to have you there. And if you want to,
what about your community?
Yeah. If you want to come and connect with me, I also have something called the Hive Hangout, where we talk about that particular free gift a lot. And we just have this little community building that we get in there. We get to meet with each other. We do calls that we get in, and we have little networking time as well, and just get to meet people and encourage. And you can ask any question of me in the Hive Hangout. So if you want to come over there, come to the Hive Hangout. It's on my websites, either one of them, and come and play, come and enjoy
Great.
come and enjoy the community.
And can people also connect with you on LinkedIn?
Absolutely.
I
LinkedIn.
gotta get my little LinkedIn thing in there.
Yeah, I'm really been, thanks to Kate, been really picking up some energy over there on LinkedIn.
Good.
I've gone in and to many of the communities in there and answered questions and just played along, to so much so that LinkedIn keeps sending me more and more things to participate in and say, we want you. So
Yeah, it's a good thing.
yeah.
So for those of you who are listening on the podcast and can't see the screen, it's linkedin.com/in/Kimberley, Kimberley, Borgens, Borgens. So connect with her there. And then Jim, can you put up her website again, please? There we go. Just like magic.
It's like magic. Thank you,
Jim
Jim.
is my producer in the background. So if you think I'm just talking to like AI, I'm not. Jim is a real human being. So Kimberley, thank you so much for being here today. Gail said, thanks to both of you. It was a great session. So it's always fun when people participate when they're listening live. And for those of you, please, watching on the replay, we'll be there to answer questions if you have them. The replay will show up, and also it'll be on my website on standingoutonline.com. And then we hope you have had a good time. So Kimberley, hang out for a little bit. We're going to end the show, but please stay in the green room.
Thank you so much, Kate.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.